Number 7, Alabama is going to play their final road game against SEC newcomer Oklahoma. Since 2001, Oklahoma has been home underdogs 3 times. 0-3 straight up and against the spread in all 3 of them. 2 of them become this year.
Yeah.
So they don't get home dogs a lot. I think this is the biggest home dog since 96. When they played 96 Nebraska, like those Tom Osborne Nebraska teams, they were actually like 35-point home dogs. And they lost, I believe it was like 73-21 or something. Like
to Tom Osborne, Nebraska.
Yeah, Tommy Frazier
some of
and
those
those
old
guys.
timers, man, they like to talk about some of the best teams in college football, and they always bring up the Tom Osborne, Nebraska teams. Every time I hear them brought up, it's usually a stat like that where it's just like, good Lord, how much better were they than everybody else?
They might have been better. I mean, they're just one of the overlooked teams. I mean, they were 94, 96, and 97 for national championships or something like that. But they were on quite a tear there. But this game, Alabama, Oklahoma, 13.5-point favorites for the Tide. What are your thoughts?
I mean, as a fan, the fan in me, of course, you're like this too sometimes. You know, I get caught up in the part of like, golly, all this playoff talk and all this other stuff. Like, just worry about playing who you've got on your schedule and quit worrying about all that other stuff. You know, on the road against an Oklahoma team that is trying to get bowl eligible. It's their last home game. They've got a bunch of seniors on this team, that have proud guys that have stuck around. Do they want to try to go out and away or whatever at home at night in Norman? If Alabama plays well, if they just play their game and play well, they shouldn't have any problem here. I think Alabama's defense can control this game and Oklahoma has been so awful all year long offensively. Granted, they have looked a little bit better in their last couple of games after they changed offensive coordinators and went back to Jackson Arnold. They have looked a little bit better. His legs, his ability to run the ball in the run game from the quarterback position worries me a little bit as far as him extending plays and, your 3rd and 5s and 3rd and 6s and plays that normally are sacks. They turn into first downs. Same thing that Jalen Milroe does to other teams. As long as Alabama just plays well defensively, don't do that stupid crap that they do sometimes on the road where you look up and they've got 14 penalties and 8 false starts and they're constantly in 2nd and long and 3rd and long. Again, as long as they just don't make a bunch of mistakes, just play good defense, don't turn the ball over, they're going to be fine and they'll win this game comfortably. I don't expect them to blow Oklahoma out. I really don't. I actually think that Oklahoma will give them a little bit of a game here. It'll be probably a little lower scoring is how I could see it going because Oklahoma's defense is solid still.
Yeah, I'm interested to see Alabama's offense versus Oklahoma's defense.
Yeah. Josh Pate was talking about the other day, I expect Alabama to go in there, run the football, have success. I don't care how good Oklahoma's rush defense is. If you're one of the best teams in the country, you should be able to go in and run the football. I don't necessarily agree with that because Oklahoma's defense is good and they can stop the run. But I agree with you. I do think Oklahoma's defense is really good, so I'm interested to see what's Alabama's offensive game plan here. Do they stick with the running the football first, being a run first, power run team? Do they stick with that? They should.
Well, some would say they found themselves in the run game. So
they did. They did.
Yeah, I mean it's still a road night game atmosphere.
Yeah,
I believe this is probably. Is this Oklahoma's last home game, or do they play LSU at home next week?
This is their last home game.
Okay, so I mean, senior night or whatever, I don't put too much stock in senior nights or senior days anymore, but still a road atmosphere. I mean, this is one, the Oklahoma fans have been looking forward to for a long time, getting Alabama in there. So we'll see if the atmosphere, rattles them. But I mean, even if it's for a quarter or so, like I expect Jalen Milroe to win this game with his legs. That's really all it is to it.
Yeah, and dude, Alabama's defense the last 4 or 5 games has forced a ton of turnovers.
Yep,
a ton of turnovers. And Oklahoma,
if there's one thing Jackson Arnold does well, it's turn the ball over.
Exactly. So I think Alabama's defense is what's going to be the difference here. It would not shock me at all to see Oklahoma's defense give Alabama's offense trouble.
Yeah,
that's why that I think the line is honestly pegged about exactly where I think this game ends up. I could see this being around a 14-point game when it's all
Okay.
said and done.
Okay.